and we are continuing with the teachings. And as I was reflecting over the weekend, because we had a Women's Day weekend, and it was quite a strange one for me to not be actively working on Women's Day specifically, to not be on stage. I am not used to that at all. For many, many years on Women's Day, especially the day, I would be on some stage somewhere. So this time I was not working. I was a delegate actually in a local event, very small, and the guest, not the guest man, and the host was so generous and so kind to me as to not make me stand up and say a few things, which I truly appreciated. Because usually people like me who are known to be speakers, known to be teachers, even when you attend a random party, someone's birthday party or something where people are sitting and gathered, you are always asked, yo, can our level just stand up and say a few things? Guys, that's work. You are making me work. It's like randomly asking Trevor Noah to stand up and give a few jokes. That's work. I don't know if Trevor Noah still identifies as a comedian. I don't know. I don't know if he still does stand up, but that type of thing, asking, someone to just come and just give poetry, a poet, that's work. So, it was quite interesting to just sit and be a delegate in a very small church setting, which was very quiet, which I loved. That's what my soul was yearning for this year. Silence, meditation, prayer, as opposed to active, honoring or commemorating. So this time it was more of an internal commemoration. And then on the 10th, I had a Zoom session with some of my students, also quite small, about 8 of us, where we were just in prayer, in meditation, in storytelling mode. So I'm feeling very refreshed and very energized. So as I was reflecting, I thought, it would probably not, I would not be doing justice to this series if I don't talk about feminism. And I have so much to say about feminism, and I'm going to start with the truth. But for this series, I just thought maybe let me term this series The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Feminism, because like anything, like any ism, all isms, because for some reason, when it comes to feminism, we treat it with like kid gloves. It's like a holy cow, especially from us women. The men bash feminism. I mean, they just go for it. But I find that in the female, as women, we tiptoe around some of the things that feminism really was not so great, was not our friend. But it was our friend for a very long time. So I'm going to do the good, the bad, and the damaging, the ugly part of feminism. And, just given the title, you know that it's going to be at least 3 videos or maybe 4. We'll see. But I want to start with my journey, my story as how is it that I became a feminist? Because for many years, for my 30s, my entire 30s, I identified as a feminist. But I think also, even in my 20s, it's just that, the 30s, one found her voice, or I found voice and space to actually articulate some of these things that I have just been seeing over the years. If you've read my Facebook, and I think as I was reflecting on my memoirs, you will notice that in my early days as a young girl, I've always just had this sensitivity around how boys are treated, how women are treated, the violence in the community, the violence, gender-based violence, where boys were really just mean to girls, where there were jackrolings, there were rapes, there were just beatings, like a girl would be beaten up by a boy in broad daylight, whether that boy is the boyfriend or someone umubatlang. So I've always seen that, and it always just rubbed me the wrong way, combined with the home I came from, where we had sort of a bully for a dad, and just the way society was skewed against women, So I've always sort of felt it. But then in my late 30s, mid 30s, when I started reading, when one started opening their minds and reading books, because I started reading in my 20s, in my early 20s, yeah, I started reading avidly at 22. And it was a mixture of history books and spiritual books, mainly spiritual books, but I would stumble upon a political book. I write what I like, yeah, Steve Biko, that almost everybody khabulad. And then the Feminist Manifesto, I read that, and I found language as to, oh, so I wasn't crazy all along. There was something skewed and something off around how women are treated in societies and communities. And you know me, once I grab onto something and my heart is in there and I am in it, I go deep. I mean, I found out about obviously Alice Walker. You cannot identify as a feminist and not know Alice Walker. Both Gloria Steinem, very iconic in the feminist space, who started a Miss magazine that went on for years. I mean, Gloria just was also just a force. Alice Walker. I went back in time, where we found Sojourn Truth, who the famous speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" Please find that speech when you get time. And Angela Davis, obviously Bell Hooks being my favorite for many reasons. I mean, Bell Hooks dabbles on feminism, spirituality, love, healing, which is very much the way I am approaching it as well, just the whole thing. And she dives deep into love and into healing, especially the relationship between men and women. So I learn a lot from Bell Hooks. If I were to identify a feminist or someone who's into healing of the sexes, for me, I habulate from Bell Hooks. So she's for me my iconic figure. We come to Africa, there's still many, many iconic figures in Africa. Even though she doesn't live in Nigeria, she lives mainly in the US, in DC, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I mean, who can forget We Should All Be Feminists? I don't know if you guys have ever watched that video here on YouTube. Watch that video, We Should All Be Feminists, and just get mesmerized. And I don't know if you've ever read her books. I did read Half of a Yellow Sky, half of a yellow sun, half of a yellow sky, half of a yellow sun. Yeah, and that's it. I only read Half of a Yellow Sun. I'm yet to read her other books. There's her latest book that I am promising myself to actually have it as a summer read. And then obviously an environmentalist, Wangari Maathai, another one who just, whenever I think of Wangari Maathai, I just get goosebumps, just what she could do for the environment, as a strong feminist figure in Africa. And then here at home, Professor Pumla Gola, who everybody knows, a feminist, formidable feminist, who has written interesting and beautiful books. The one that won her the prize, the book Rape, which is a must read. I think it should be in schools as well, because it just paints a picture. It just takes you back in time as to why rape is what it is right now. So yes, I have deep roots in feminism. And so I would read up, and I understood feminism, its connection to capitalism, its connection to the system, its connection to how it has emasculated women, how we became, part of why we are perpetually now masculine is, a lot of it has to do with feminism. So yeah, my late 20s were very much the years that I immersed myself in feminism and understood it backwards. I mean, as I've mentioned, some of the women I've learned from. And why did I find my voice clearer in my 30s, especially early 30s, early to mid 30s? I was a staunch, a strong feminist. Reason being, I was on social media, Facebook in particular, and I found myself just posting about feminism and the ills of patriarchy, the ills of capitalism, the ills of men. And I mean, I remember this one time, one lady said to me, I found myself talking like I'm you in a board meeting or in a meeting at work because I learned the feminist language from you. You made it so easy for me to understand. And I did not know at the time that a lot of people did not understand exactly how deep feminism is. I mean, a lot of people think feminism is about hating men. It is far from that, especially the proper, if you understand the roots of feminism, which is rooted in, can we all be equal? And I'm not saying that it didn't get toxified and hijacked along the way, which I'm going to talk about when we talk about the bad. So right now I'm talking about where I come from with feminism and the good of it in a way. So what feminism has done, I was saying, why is it that in my 30s? In my 30s, it was when I had joined Facebook. I mean, I joined Facebook in 2009. In 2009, I was what, 33? I was 33. And I was loud. I mean, I had a feminist post every Tuesday without fail. Feminism, patriarchy, misogyny. I would teach on anything that has to do with that world. Someone was even calling it a master class that we couldn't wait for Tuesday because we learned a lot. And I'm talking about men and women here, not just women. I would teach on that Facebook wall of mine and I would get bashed a lot. I mean, a lot of men, men, like I said, by right feminism, especially when you don't understand it, you do get male feminists, which, the less we talk about that, the better. But most men did not like it. And I was bashed a lot. I was cursed a lot. I was told all sorts of things. And, slowly, slowly, I would, like I said, bell hooks is my model of feminism, So when you are a bell hooks student, you are bound to go deep and go deep. And the more you go into spirituality and healing, which was happening also simultaneously with me. I was deepening also in my healing. I was deepening in my spiritual pursuits. One day I'm going to be doing a series on my spiritual journey. I think you guys will like that. So I was deepening also in my spiritual pursuits. And if there's one thing about spiritual journeys and deepening and a genuine desire to know, to learn, to grow, you can never be stuck in an ism that is by its very nature fundamentalist. Remember, feminism is opposing what? Patriarchy. And whenever there is a polarity where there's some form of war, it's almost like you need patriarchy for feminism to exist. So they sort of feed onto each other in a way. And I'm just mentioning a deeper truth here, and I'll deepen it maybe on the third video. And I saw that, oh, these things are sort of one and the same. And this is why feminists are also so hostile if we tell the truth. This saying that says, if you look too long at the abyss, if you look down at the abyss for too long, the abyss is looking back at you. So over the years, slowly, I could see that, the feminists and feminism itself is becoming the monster that it is trying to fight. It is fundamentalist. It does not have any form of self-correction. The feminists are getting angrier and angrier and almost less interested in really fixing. Because I remember this one time in the years, I think about 2015, 2016, I used to have dialogues based on my book, but also based on the teachings I used to do on Facebook. And this one time I created a gathering, a dialogue between men, a dialogue with men. I think I had about 3 of those. And a lot of my feministas were not happy with this. I remember one coming to me on inbox saying, "What are you doing? The focus has to be women, you can't, men, we can't be saving men all the time." And I think now I had started seeing, Hore, we cannot fix this without men. We actually cannot fix it without men. If we really truly want equality and we truly want to understand each other and we want to find each other. So now that confused me because I always thought that we want to heal, we want to come together, we want to understand each other, we want to see from one's perspective. I also started to see that their focus on a girl child and neglecting the boy child had its own damages. Like I started to see, and this is the beauty of being a perpetual student and being genuinely wanting to grow and genuinely wanting to heal and genuinely wanting transformation. And so I started seeing loopholes and some loopholes in feminism that in as much as it is fighting for equality, which is absolutely great, it does not have a self-correcting mechanism. It's almost like it is faultless. And the moment something comes across as faultless, you have a problem because it's, how do you self-correct? How do you know that actually I've lost the plot? And I stopped, posting, and I was pulling myself a little bit away, distancing myself from certain narratives. But the one that made me say, enough, I am not going here. I am not doing this anymore. Even if I can be cancelled, I don't care, is when we blatantly said men are trash. There was absolutely no way I was going to be a part of that. I even wrote a long post on Facebook, distancing myself from the phrase and saying that if this is our feminism, if this is our politics, you can miss me on that. because it is very damaging to dehumanize someone. When you say men are trash, or anyone is trash, or anything, you are first and foremost, you're dehumanizing. And dehumanization is the first sign that you are seriously at war. You know, they say that you cannot kill another human being. For you to bomb people, to murder people, to create genocides, you first need to dehumanize people. And I'm thinking of obviously the Jewish genocide, the Rwandan genocide that happened in 94, that, you know, between the Hutus and the Tutsis, someone was calling someone cockroaches. So you have to dehumanize me first before you can pour petrol on me and burn me alive. And I'm not in any way saying that the phrase men are trash is going to make women burn men and kill men. I'm not saying that, but it finds its roots in something as vile as that. And I personally could no longer identify with that. And it was my cue to say, all right, I'm hitting a pause on the feminist thing, and pause instead of stop, because I still believe in the ideals of feminism. I think it has its own good. I think it has done wonders for women over the years. I mean, some of the good things that feminism has done, which we really cannot ignore, is that it has liberated women from the kitchen, from oppression. It has given women voice. It has given women a place in the world to say something, to not be tied to the kitchen only, to not be children of men, to not to be trampled upon, you know, to give us the dignity that we needed as women. And, you know, with the next video, I'm going to deepen on that good and then with the bad. For this video, I just wanted to give you my story as to, you know, how is it that I no longer identify as a feminist, even though I even though I no longer identify as a feminist, even though I believe in the ideals, I believe in the original ideals of feminism, which is, can we be equal human beings? I believe in the ideals of the equality between men and women, or between the feminine and the masculine. I believe that women hold up half the sky, as the Chinese proverb goes, that we cannot prosper or we cannot become anything significant if we operate on one side, if we favor one gender over the other, if we favor one gender over the other, and we oppress another and think we will have a healthy society. So those, I believe in those ideals. Whether or not I will identify fully as a feminist going forward, I'm not sure. But that doesn't stop me from advocating for the rights of women where we need to fight for the rights of women, because the world is still very much unequal. And how we go about that, we need to go about it in a probably brand new way. Someone once asked me the other day if feminism is irrelevant. I don't think so. I don't think it's irrelevant. I think there's still room for it, but it does need a lot of reinvention. It does need a reevaluation. If you ask me, I think we probably need a women's conference, a huge one, as big as the Beijing ones, where we talk, because the world has changed. A lot has changed. Women are tired. Feminine qualities need to be recognized, because I think where feminism missed it, and I'm going ahead of myself because that's for the next video, but I think feminism continued to suppress femininity, which is where the problem is, which is why we are here and why we are so tired and why we don't know, why we are feeling so gaslit as women. On the one hand, we are told to be feminine, but no one knows how to. And on the other hand, being masculine is actually what is loved, what is preferred from us. You know, the society loves a masculine woman. Society loves a masculine woman. And I'll talk about that also in the next video. It prefers a masculine woman because a masculine woman is a working woman. A masculine woman is a means of labor. Labor. A feminine woman is never going to be a labor go past John. Or if they are, it will be at their own terms and so on, you know. So a feminine woman is very, very, it's a very wild one. I wonder if we know what we mean, if we are aware of what we want when we say we need to return to femininity. but we need to return to femininity for balance. Okay, so let me leave it here for now. That was my story with feminism. And the next video will be about the good and the bad of feminism. Yeah, I want to give it its due space of the good, what it really covered, and the bad. So I'll do those as one video. So this is it. I just really wanted to open up with my own truth about my journey on feminism. Obviously, I didn't give you everything, but just so that you know, when I talk about the good and the bad and the ugly of feminism, I'm talking of something that I actually know well, of an ism, of an ideology that I understood, that I loved, that I believed in what it's trying to achieve, until it became really weird for me and I just couldn't continue to identify as that. So I'm going to leave it here then for now until the next video, which will be very, very soon, in a day or two, where we then delve deep into this. So we'll go deep into the good that feminism brought, because we have to highlight those. And then the bad, and then maybe the final video would be the ugly and how we can maybe reimagine feminism, if and maybe see if really does it still have a place, which I still think it does. It just needs to be reimagined. It just needs to almost go back to its roots. I favor bell hooks' teachings around where feminism could go. Okay, I'll see you. This is my story. This is my story. I can't wait to hear yours.